Hey, welcome back to How to Barbecue Right. I'm Malcolm Reed. Y'all, today I'm making Mexican meatloaf. I'm putting a little spin on this one, adding some spiciness to it. We're gonna smoke it, of course, but it's gonna be along the lines of a traditional meatloaf with the south of the border flavor. Let's get to cooking. So really the hardest part of this recipe is just the prep to get everything chopped up, because really we're just gonna put these meats together, season them, and then get them on the smoker. So I've got a pound of ground beef that I'm using, and that's not too out of the norm, but I'm also doing a pound of fresh chorizo sausage, and that's gonna give us a lot of flavor. Now, chorizo can be a little greasy. It's got a lot more fat in it than that ground beef. It's a pork sausage. It's gonna render down, but it's gonna leave us with some fantastic flavors, and the color is gonna be awesome. So I'm just gonna start slowly combining the ground beef and the chorizo. The meatloaf needs a binder, so what we've got is some breadcrumbs, and you can use whatever you want for breadcrumbs. I just did some store-bought ones, and then to really help it all glue together, I just whooped up a couple eggs here. We're gonna add those as well. Now I've got a whole jalapeno, some red bell pepper, some diced white onion, and some cilantro. So it's almost like a pico without the tomatoes. We're gonna get these worked in a little bit. Now we're ready to season it up a little. First, I'm gonna use some of my Grande Gringo Mexican seasoning. If you have a favorite Mexican seasoning, by all means use it here. But I just want a good dose of it. A lot of meat needs a lot of seasoning. So next, I'm gonna add a little bit of Valentina hot sauce. And I don't wanna really make it really wet, so I'm not adding a ton, but I do want some of that flavor in there. This is kind of my little secret. Think of a kind of a Mexican flavored soy sauce meets Worcestershire. This is Maggi, called seasoning. I'm just gonna add a little extra of that for that umami flavor. Now here's a little tip when you're working with meatloaf. Oil those hands up just a little bit with olive oil. Get your lovely assistant or your wife, which happens to be my lovely assistant, give me some oil. And all that's gonna do is help keep stuff from sticking so bad to my hands. We're just gonna start folding all these flavors in our meatloaf together. So we've got it mixed really well. I've just got a little sheet pan here that I've lined with aluminum foil. And I'm gonna turn this meatloaf out right on it. You can form it however you want, but I just use my hands. If you wanted to cook it in a loaf pan, you absolutely could. But when I'm putting it on the smoker and I really wanna add that smoked flavor, I like to do it freeform just on a sheet pan. That way the smoke can get all around it on the grill. So I got my silverback running at 350 degrees, and all we're doing is setting this meatloaf right in the dead center. Close that lid. We're gonna let this joker cook. So our meatloaf has been on about 30 minutes, y'all, and it is looking good. Got some of the juices rendering out that fat, but I just wanna give it a little spin here. Just kinda make sure it's gonna cook even. Still got a ways to go. And while that meatloaf is on the smoker, let me show you the glaze that I'm gonna use for it. And I've got about a cup of ketchup in a bowl here. To that, I'm gonna add some brown sugar. We've got to season it up a little bit. So I'm gonna use some of my Grande Gringo, that same Mexican seasoning that we put in the meatloaf. You need a little bit of a Mexican-style hot sauce just to spice things up a little bit. And then I'm using that same Maggi seasoning, y'all. It's taking the place of a Worcestershire sauce. And we're just gonna stir it up till everything's combined. Ooh. So that meatloaf's been on about 1 hour and 15 minutes. It's hitting about 150, 155 internal. This is when I want to get the glaze on it. Now we do have a lot of fat that's rendered out. That's perfectly okay. So I'm just gonna take this kind of Mexican flavored meatloaf sauce that I threw together. We're gonna glaze it over the top. Now I'm just gonna close the lid. And the meatloaf only needs about 10, 15 minutes. I'm really not trying to over caramelize that glaze. We just want to set it on the outside. Let's check out this glaze and see how it's looking. Oh, that's what you want to see. I mean, it has done slicked over, y'all. Looks good. The color on it's beautiful. A lot of grease from that chorizo. That's okay, because we're finna get it out of that. Let's take it to the cutting board. So I just let this meatloaf hang out about 5 minutes. Now I'm gonna show you how we're gonna finish this Mexican style meatloaf. So I'm just gonna take my knife and start cutting it. You can cut it as thick or as thin as you want. We've got all those beautiful peppers and onions and seasonings on the inside. Then I've got, this is my buddy Arbo's queso, warmed it up just a tad. So this is our meatloaf gravy, y'all. Putting some of this queso right over the top of it. Then we're gonna take some of this fresh pico. We're just gonna garnish it a little bit. Pop it with a little bit of fresh cilantro. I'm gonna get this end piece. Got it all doctored up with the cheese dip. Glove hand and all, I don't care. I gotta try it because I can't wait. That tastes like one of the best enchiladas I've ever had. I need to put that on the menu. Hey, I appreciate y'all hanging out with us today here at How to Barbecue Right. If you like this meatloaf recipe and all the other stuff we're doing, y'all please subscribe to the channel. We'll be putting out recipes like this all year long. You can find us on all the social platforms of How to Barbecue Right. And Shell and I are going to be talking about this Mexican-inspired meatloaf and that cheese dip on our weekly podcast. So y'all tune in, give that a listen too. We'll see you next time. Cheese dip on meatloaf. Who knew?